And as I moved around, various proposals, various ideas were entertained. Sometimes I thought, well, if we could have a school, the school might help at least but loosely define the future generations. Sometimes the debate was, should we participate in political process? Sometimes we need to establish a social institution where the community feels relaxed and at ease to come together, etc., etc. Sometimes, as somebody who came out of the management environment, it was planning that I thought is absent. We may need to have a totally different approach, short, medium, and long-term plan. But it was, different ideas in my mind, entertained, see which one would work. Until I moved to the academic environment. Once I managed to get in, I realized that yes, all those ideas are extremely important. And the challenges to our community, I began to analyze. I realized that despite the fact that we as a community try to identify one source of threat, be it right-wing Christians, be it the media, be it the race, xenophobia, Islamophobia, etc., etc. But there was one element, one institution that, in my opinion, humble opinion, was the most destructive, the institution that was most destructive and provided or put challenges on the path of development of the Muslim community in this country, in the West in general, particularly in the United States. And that is the academic environment. The more I spend time in it, I realize that yes, race is critical. Xenophobia is the undercurrent that exists. Islamophobia still exists and is getting stronger. The right-wing Christians, with their call for Armageddons, they are there. But the only institution that creates the right language for them to be successful in the society is the academic environment. Under the banner of the so-called freedom of expression and the impartiality of the academic establishment, we are analyzing things. It's a research. They develop these new languages that within a short period of time you see the bigots within the media pick up those languages and use them. Even the most hideous priest will pick them up and use them. Remember about a year ago in Washington, I believe, Hagee, or Haiti, as some people might call it, one of the most vile Christian ministers against Islam. These are the right-wing, what they call themselves, Zionist Christians. The language that he used were developed within Princeton, Harvard, and a few other schools. When you leave few of these centers or departments out collectively, under the banner of academic freedom, they create the most doubt in the mind of the students. The language that ultimately these institutions would use to attack Islam, the cynicism, the confusion, etc., etc. During Christmas holiday, University of Denver, a few scholars were planning to organize some kind of, this is the university that I teach, some kind of a program on international relations, religion and international relations. And I saw representatives of Christians being invited, Jews are being invited, Hindus are being invited, Buddhists are being invited, but nothing, no name of Islam. So when I approached the organizers, I said, we don't think Islam has any international political theory. Islam only has this notion of Dar al-Harb, Dar al-Islam, and according to our understanding of Dar al-Harb and Dar al-Islam is supposed to swallow Dar al-Harb. There is no relationship between the two, this binary construction. When we insisted that we have to be at the table to explain that Islam has a theory of international relation and Islam has a political philosophy, the whole thing was cancelled. The seminar was cancelled. So this is the reality that we are confronted with. It is, you see repeatedly few centers that unfortunately now we have a double trouble with these centers. Georgetown, for example, was one of the centers that to a degree people like Esposito and others were relatively speaking moderate and they were writing in defense of Islam. Now the Saudis are becoming the fund givers to these institutions and them creating their own restriction on who can talk and who cannot talk. Yes, we need school. Yes, we need religious institution. Yes, we need the community and multiplicity of centers, religious centers and schools. We need everyone to look at us, to see the huge mosques with reverence and respect, that we are a thriving community. But if we want to succeed in this country, scholars need to go to the academic establishment. Otherwise, if we leave them, the Baha'is are teaching about Islam and Shias. The Jews are talking about Shia and Islam. The Christians are talking about Shia and Islam. Why? We have either incapable or for whatever reason ill-equipped, which comes part of our plan. And by the way, it's not because these institutions generally they have targeted Islam, because before Islam they literally destroyed Christianity. I studied at Iliff School of Theology, which is a liberal kind of theological school in Colorado. When you look at this so-called liberal theological schools, they have deconstructed Christianity to the point that now within classes, these are Christian institutions, within Christian classes, they talk about the personality of Jesus to be nothing but myth and fiction. And when you challenge them, they are surprised. A Muslim imam challenges in defense of Jesus? They, at the moment, the only religion that has the power, the potential, to challenge secular dogmatism is Islam, nothing else. And this is why they have focused so much attention on disfiguring the image of Islam within the United States or anywhere else. Now we are beginning to see the result of the planning that was done by the new conservatives in 1974 to have full control. Now we're beginning to see that pays, where the academic establishments are being given endowment by people that really have nothing, no love for religion whatsoever. I plead to my distinguished guests as well as esteemed friends here, it is about time that the same way you are paying attention to the schools for children, you are paying attention to everything else, pay attention, infiltrate the universities and the academic establishment. You prepare your children, if you are successful, they come out perfect in usul al-din, furu' al-din, they can argue. Once they get into the university environment, there is no talk about Farabi, hardly anything about Ibn Rushd, hardly anything about Ibn Sina. What they talk about is Nietzsche, Hegel, Marx, and so on and so forth. Our kids are not prepared to discuss these kind of things. And then the cynicism starts, the doubt starts, the confusion starts. What do we have? The vacuum. If we as theologians, scholars, that religion is ingrained within our blood, is part of our DNA. If we don't fill these gaps, as I said, the Wahhabis will come, the Baha'is will come, the Christians will come, the Jews will come, the Hindus and the Buddhists will come. Now, Islamic material, if this wasn't enough, Islamic material is coming from the Wahhabi and the Salafi movement into the universities. I used to travel, there are 28 prisons in Colorado, this is the private prisons, and nearly 16 governmental ones, state. And I used to travel from one prison as if, what they call it, a chaplain, a volunteer chaplain. Not a single prison I went into that I did not see pre-packaged, extremely nice package from the Saudi, well, it's the same thing. The Saudi embassy coming to these prisons about Wahhabi and Salafi mentality. You know what is the consequence. We really need to do something. You have so much potential that we don't. You have the community, large community, we don't. I'm probably the only one, or probably two other Iranians, professors or assistant professors at the university, that those ones they harm Islam more than they benefit Islam, because they are more of a secular tendencies. You have all these centers, all the resources, all the potential, alhamdulillah, all these scholars. The only thing that we need to do is for you to plan. Don't ignore universities and centers of academic establishment. Because you do it, there is a concept in marketing, they say for a product to be successful, there are 4 P's. You have the price, promotion, place, and the price. The price. They say the price, how much price you pay for a product and how much promotion you make to sell it is critical. Brothers and sisters, use this as an analogy or a metaphor. It's the high price we will pay for the future of our generations in this country if we don't organize and we don't get the plan quickly and get on board. Every one of these scholars has the potential, the language, the background to get in. There are only minor bureaucratic steps that you need to go through and start teaching. They were resisted in the first place as they did it with me. But ultimately, when they realized there is no other alternative, there is no other so-called specialist. So, inshallah, this is, I said this is it's not going to, I wasn't supposed to be a lecture or a sermon or anything else. This is part of my daily experience that I wish I could live in an environment where there is huge potential, can focus and then move in. This is the reality that we have to deal with. So as you make planning for the future, please consider that center, because believe it or not, is the center that articulates the language by which racist, Islamophobic, xenophobia in the United States expresses itself in various kind of environment, whether it's media, whether it's churches, whether it's synagogues, whether it's anything else. نسأل الله التوفيق لكم ولنا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.